Hi, I'm Patrick Redding. I'm the game director on Splinter Cell Blacklist out of Ubisoft Toronto.
Can you go into more detail what you're showing here at PAX East?
So basically, we've brought pieces of 2 of our single-player maps to demo to the crowd and to the fans. The first is actually the first mission that's part of the single-player campaign. It's a daylight mission in Benghazi, Libya. It's a mission to retrieve an informant, and so we're showcasing about the middle third of that. And then we kind of jump to about the halfway point of the single-player campaign, and we showcase the first part of a mission in London, England, kind of more of a nighttime map, a little more of a traditional Splinter Cell kind of feel.
Can you talk about some of the influences that inspired this game?
It's hard to say. I mean, we had a huge number of influences in terms of the types of games, obviously, that were popular when we started to research it. You know, we came out of Splinter Cell Conviction with a clear mandate to sort of bring together a lot of ideas that had been present in the original Splinter Cell games and link them together with some of the improvements that we had made in Conviction and make sure that players had access to a lot of choice. And so certainly I think we admired, you know, games as varied as Mass Effect and Borderlands, you know, and certainly, you know, internally within Ubisoft, we admire games like Assassin's Creed, you know, and I think there was an appreciation of the way in which a lot of these games mixed genre elements of role RPG, elements of action adventure, elements of stealth, you know, added a layer of resource management to kind of an action adventure type of experience, and I think that was helpful for us when we were looking at how we would take, you know, Sam Fisher out of his role of just being in the field and also give him the responsibilities of being the head of 4th Echelon, giving him the responsibilities of leadership.
What were your goals heading into this game?
For us, it was, we knew that this was the 6th game in the series, and in a franchise that carries a lot of history with it. It has, you know, a lot of very passionate fans that are very protective of the continuity, and yet we wanted it to be a jumping on point for players either who are completely new to the series or who maybe had only played Splinter Cell, you know, in the past and hadn't come back to it recently, or perhaps that only played Splinter Cell Conviction. We wanted to find a way to tie together a lot of the things that were missing from Conviction in terms of classic Splinter Cell moves and features, but link them together with our new ideas in a way that was going to feel fluid and organic.
How do you feel this game pushes the game forward?
Well, I think, you know, it's interesting. While we were working on this game, we struggled with whether the stealth genre, the stealth action genre, was a niche genre or something that was accessible to a large audience. You know, and certainly we knew that Splinter Cell fans were extremely passionate, but we wanted to know, like, was that a group that could grow and expand to include new players? And so I think that while we were working on that problem, you know, other games came out that kind of showed and proved that stealth was not something that needed to be too niche. It was something that people could enjoy even if they were more mainstream fans. And so that kind of liberated us in a way to say, well, that's fine, we can still embrace our stealth roots, but then we can find new tools and new ways for the players to use stealth. You know, so it was basically saying stealth can be fun if you are not forced to spend hours maintaining it, but are able to kind of enjoy a 15-minute sequence here or there where you're remaining hidden and you're looking for, you know, a way of doing some tactical planning and you're looking for a way to your objective. And if you do something wrong and you get detected, or if something happens that it was not predicted, then rather than feeling like it's a failure and that you have to go back and restart, you can adapt on your feet and you have tools that allow you to survive and to escape and to vanish, and then you can live to fight another day. And I think that was always our goal, was to take stealth action and not make it too rigid, but make it something that players felt like they could flow into and out of very easily.
Can you talk about the story more and some of the characters?
You know, for us, the narrative wrapper is always an interesting challenge in any Tom Clancy game, because, of course, it has this very strong geopolitical basis where, you know, the games are typically fairly abstract and can get quite complex in terms of their story. And I think we made a conscious choice to create a scenario that was both simple and also credible and felt plausible in the real world. So we introduced this notion of the Engineers, a kind of a terror network that is borderless and post-ideological, but has a very simple agenda, which is that they are trying to force the United States to reduce its military footprint around the world to essentially zero. And they're waging a campaign of increasingly damaging and destructive terrorist attacks in order to make it politically impossible for the U.S. to maintain those forces abroad. And so that obviously is the kind of scenario that would trigger a crisis in real life. And so we liked the idea of letting the player play what was going on behind the scenes, even while the public response was happening. And so that gave us the perfect excuse to kind of strip Splinter Cell down to the core element of a very secretive operation that is deniable, that has to operate on its own resources, that's only known to a handful of people. There's no monolithic super spy agencies here. It's really a small group of people on a plane with very good technology and essentially a permit from the president to do whatever it takes in order to stop the threat.